I was somehow lucky enough to receive an invitation to the Dawntrail media tour, where I was given the opportunity to test out the level 100 iterations of all 21 of the game's jobs. In order to make sure you can get all the information you want quickly, I've sectioned each of my media tour videos into 3 sections. Firstly comes the changes and additions, including tooltips. Then I will talk more in depth on how I feel about the jobs. It's here that I'll talk about the various little bits and pieces that I tested, how this will shift their playstyle, and give you a bit of a primer of exactly what to expect going into the next expansion. Lastly, at the end of the video, I will have a full list of the jobs tooltips from the media tour build, including traits. Do please bear in mind that what I played was a development build, and it's totally subject to change, especially potencies, so don't take this as a final product, but it can be very useful to see intention and direction from the developers. Additionally, I had very limited time to test everything, and our play session was at like 400 ping due to needing to route the server access through North America, then all the way to Japan. So what you're going to be seeing from me is definitely not peak gameplay. My apologies, I did the best I could with what we had access to. Hakaze gets upgraded to Gyofu, a 240 potency hit. Meikyo now additionally grants a use of the Tendo buff for 30 seconds on top of its old effects. When you have the Tendo buff active, your Iaijutsu button will change to either Tendo Setsugeka or Tendo Gokun when you have 3 or 2 Sen respectively. These are essentially upgrades to your Midare and Tenkagokun, and they deal increased damage as a result. Then, after doing this, you can follow up these attacks with either Tendo Kaishi Gokun or Tendo Kaishi Setsugeka, which are upgraded Tsubame Gaishi hits. Basically, in practice, this doesn't change the buttons you press. This just means that Meikyo upgrades your next non-dot Sen spender and the subsequent Tsubame to a better version. Speaking of Tsubame Gaishi, it now has no cooldown. Instead, you can only Tsubame after using Meikyo. Ikishoten still gives the 50 gauge it used to, but it now also gives you the Zanshin Ready buff. Zanshin is a new offensive OGCD attack, hitting for a whopping 900 potency and costing you 50 gauge to do so. Because Ikishoten gives you 50 gauge, you're essentially spending what they just gave you. Guren and Sene are now both 60-second cooldowns rather than 2 minutes. Shoha gets a new icon, animation, and extra potency, and it's been merged with Shoha 2. Third Eye receives an upgrade called Tengetsu. It still functions pretty much identically, but now when you successfully proc the third eye, or in this case Tengetsu, as well as restoring Tenkenki, you also get Tengetsu's Foresight, which will restore 500 potency of HP on you after 8 seconds have gone. They also got a number of GCD potency buffs to bring their damage in line with the upgrades that other jobs received, and Feint has been extended from 10 to 15 seconds in duration. So it seems like on the whole, Samurai hasn't changed very drastically at all, but what has happened are that failure states have been removed, or at least reduced a lot. It's been made so that it's a lot easier to properly enter and complete your 1 and 2 minute burst windows. The animation updates and upgrades look so incredibly cool, but I'm pretty happy with what we got honestly, because I think Samurai played decently as it is, and now there is an extra use for the Kenki gauge, and to me that can only be a good thing. Firstly, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And secondly, I'd love to hear how you think this will change their playstyle. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day.